and they know these waters. They fed their family, and they fed Louisiana and the world with their catch. They're a proud people. They just went through a horrible hurricane. I was there. Now our people are not asking for a handout. They're asking that we work together with them. You're their prophet. You're God's prophet. God has placed His message in your voice. God has placed His message in your hands. You who prepare the meals of the world. You are God's prophet now for these people. A prophet is a spokesman for God. You are a spokesman for these waters. You're a spokesman for the people who cannot speak for themselves right now, but who are more than willing to take their share of the burden to clean the waters and to make these waters stay productive for Louisiana and for the whole of the United States and anyone else who gets the benefits of these waters. So I'm asking you as chefs, you've been chosen by the Lord. You're not here by accident. Don't ever pride yourself into thinking that your gifts come from yourself. You work for them. But God gave you the skill and the desire to be where you are today. You're going out to see the devastation of the waters, but I want you to see beyond that. You who understand seafood, you who are chefs who understand food, who understand the needs of the people who feed on these waters, go out there and look at what's happening and see if among yourselves you can also find solutions. The people are seeking solutions here. They're not asking for someone to solve all their problems. They're hard-working, decent Christians.
Ring back. And I was so blessed to get the gentlemen that are going to be introduced in a couple minutes to come to represent, and like John was saying, to go back and just explain the story and to touch their staff and touch their customer and touch their region of what's happening here. You know, we've never been great stewards of our planet. And we haven't even been great stewards of each other. But it always seems like when something happens, we do always come together. We do always, and it'll last for a year, it'll last for 2 years. This is going to have, my 19-year-old said, "So Dad, this is the legacy your generation is going to leave?" I said, "No, but we're going to encourage your generation to fix it, I'll tell you that." I want to thank every one of the chefs that have taken the time out of their insane schedule to carve out 24 hours to come here and to see this situation up close and personal, and to bless so many people that are hurting right now, and to encourage so many people that are hurting right now, and to bring the message back. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You bless me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I am a chef. I feed people for a living. I feed them a lot of seafood for a living, but today I'm not here as a chef. I'm here as someone who loves the water. From the age of 3, my grandfather had me out pulling crab traps. I fish as much as I possibly can. And so when I got a call from Rick to come down here, I wanted to see this firsthand. This is something that for some reason I have been following pretty much every day on the news, like most of Americans. Frustrated by the response, frustrated by the misinformation, frustrated by the inability to do anything. So when I had the opportunity to come down here, I pretty much canceled everything and jumped on a plane. And all I can do is be a mouthpiece. You know, it seems that there are 2 stories here. There's the story of devastation, but there's also the story of hope. There are fishermen fishing. There's seafood. I mean, we ate it last night and it was wonderful. There's fish coming out of the Gulf. The Gulf is a big area and it's being fished. Please, if there are any fishermen out there, please stay out of the closed areas. The worst thing that could possibly happen is for tainted seafood to get out in the marketplace. With that, you have my pledge, and I'm from New York, So I'm kind of partial, don't boo me on this one, I'm partial to the North Atlantic. That's where I live. However, you have my pledge that I will serve Gulf seafood, Louisiana seafood in all of my restaurants for a long time right now. That's all I can do. And you have my pledge that I will have Gulf seafood in all of my restaurants, but please keep it safe. I spoke to Harlan at length last night, and I think I have some of the answers when people say, how is it? I've been tweeting the whole time I'm down here, and a lot of the questions that I'm getting is, how do you know it's safe? And after speaking to Harlan last night, I have a pretty good idea of how it's being kept safe. And I'm pretty confident that not only is it safe, but I can continue to sell Gulf seafood and be a mouthpiece for what's going on here. So please keep it safe, and you have my pledge. I will sell Gulf seafood in all my restaurants. Thanks for having me down here. It's an absolute pleasure, not only to spend time with John, but everybody that's down here. You guys are the salt of the earth. Keep it up. We love you. Thank you.
Now, I have learned, of course, it's easy to write about things are negative, to tell people, certain things you shouldn't do, and that is bad. But I also learned, since I've been here, the great things about other part of the Gulf have great seafood, is very fresh, and also very clean. So, my perception have educated myself and changed dramatically. So my job with this trip is going to the world, but not just what I know, but going to the world to tell people the safety of eating Louisiana seafood, and also encouraging my chefs, and also educating people that I know with the industry, and of course spreading to Canada, which is not very much know about this part of the world, seafood. And my restaurant, as a matter of fact, I'm using Gulf shrimp. So I really appreciate all the ups and downs with the people who live in this part of the world. And I felt that this is such like a warrior spirit. And also, if people say, if you can live in New York, you can live anywhere. And I think people in Louisiana can live here, you can live anywhere. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick, for inviting me here today. I wake up every morning and I read the New York Times, and it just kills me. I don't sleep anymore. I have a large seafood restaurant in Mandalay Bay, 18,000 square feet, and I buy hundreds of thousands of pounds of seafood every year. I rely heavily on the seafood of Louisiana. The water's behind me. From signature dish crab cakes, blue crab, oysters, crawfish, catfish, sloppy joes, all sorts of fun stuff. People enjoy seafood and need to know that it's safe and it's healthy for them. So here we are in a situation where it's questionable. We have to define what safe means first. We have to create some consumer confidence. And this is just my advice. From my perspective, I get questions from my guests that come into my restaurant. And when people come into chefs' restaurants, you got to realize that what we do for a living, people put in their mouth, becomes who they are. They feed their families. It's their future, their health. And that confidence can't be shaken. So we as chefs need to know what safe means, because we want to support it. But it scares us a little bit. And we want to take that seafood, continue to support it, and make sure that we're sending out clear messages. What Tom said earlier, tainted seafood enters into the market, it's going to be all over the news. It's going to put everything to hell for everybody. So that's what we have to protect. That's the messaging that we have to put out. And we can continue to celebrate, support, and in the interim, we need to raise money. We need to support the fishing industries that have had generations upon generations of dependency upon a natural resource that's now tainted with a big oil slick. And no one knows what that means, or what kind of the fallout that's going to have an effect upon it. So as I traveled through the waters yesterday, I couldn't help but just feel a little bit sick to my stomach, scared, and thrilled to be here. To be able to support all of you that work very, very hard and need to continue to work very, very hard. The health of our nation, the health of everything, the health of ourselves and our families depend upon it. And I'm here to bring that message back, and I hope that we all understand that. Thank you very much.